Good morning, this is Bree. Welcome to our home. I was just sitting here having some breakfast and these two decided to take over. And it's really cute, even though they have the same exact thing for breakfast. They want mommies. Isn't that always the way it goes? Say more, please.
Don't be ready.
That's right, please. Good, that's please. Can you say more? Okay, here's more. Here's some more.
Because they're miniature humans.
It is because they're miniature humans.
And they gotta come and they're just so intelligent. This is basically like a giant cliff to them. Not really.
I feel overwhelmed. Twin toddlers are no joke. Unless they're sleeping, there's just never a time I can turn off. Don't get me wrong, you guys know I am beyond grateful for them. Oh, but it is real. This is the challenge of my life, I think, is twin toddlers. I've always loved the toddler years, loved it. And I'm not saying I don't love it, but it's definitely trying me on every level that I've ever been tried on. And I think it's just hard too, like taking care of them here in a neighborhood with no fence. And like they can open all the doors and they can even get around all of the child lock stuff that I've tried. So anyway, it's just my moment. I'm just showing you a quick moment of my reality. But we're about to get outside and garden, and that is going to change everything. Because gardening always chills me out and just my stress just floats away. What are you two crazies doing now? You're getting a little too close to the road there, buddy. Can you throw it this way? Hey, will you shut the garage door, please? Are you already soaking wet this morning? Who hosed you down, Mr. Snotty Nose? Hey, let's not walk in the road. Let's go walk in the grass. Come on. That is so sweet. Thank you for your help. Royal, do you like holding hands? Okay, some friends came and joined me today. This is my friend Heather. She is gonna help me plant today, and her kids are here to play with my kids. You ready to come help in the garden? Yeah. Cool. And let me show you, after we do some work, y'all can have popsicles, yeah. And let me show you, I have the boys on a big job. I'm gonna feel them and make sure they're getting full enough. It looks like they are. So the boys are actually filling up sandbags for me to put on the garden.
Here, hold this one.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah, so the first ones we did aren't quite like good.
Okay.
They aren't like good.
All right, you guys are doing awesome. Thank you so much. Keep going. You're doing a great job. So they are gonna fill those up, bring them down to the garden, and then they're gonna take the rocks off the garden and put sandbags on it. All right, let me show you guys what we're gonna plant. I got these plants from a friend, and she runs Green Mountain Plant Company. You can get starts just as beautiful as these at the Weaverville Tailgate Market near Asheville if you want to go bless her business, Green Mountain Plant Co. I get all of my starts from her, and they are always incredible. So hopefully we can get all of this planted today. It is time. We have romaine lettuce, arugula, kale. Is that kale? That's not kale.
Yes.
No, it just looks like it. Oh, it is kale. Yeah, kale.
Is it the
Kale.
I was going to
Broccoli, spinach, Swiss chard, and cabbage. And then I have a bunch of herbs to get in, but we don't have to get those planted today. I also have potatoes to plant, but those also do not have to get in today. These things, I feel like it's really important to get them in the ground ASAP so that we can get a good harvest before it gets hot. All of these I'm planting today can be direct sown or put starts in before your last frost. These are cold weather crops. They want to be planted now. They do best being planted before the last frost. As a matter of fact, I feel like most of what I plant in my garden and my most favorite things to grow and eat are in my spring and fall garden. The summer garden, yes, it's a lot. Like it's big, huge harvests like corn and tomatoes and pumpkins and squash. But my favorite things to grow are actually in my spring and my fall garden. Each one of these, if you were to plant them in the summer, they actually wouldn't even thrive. They would either go directly to seed, or they would just wilt and die, or they would be so bitter you wouldn't even want to eat them. Now there are varieties that you can grow that will do a little bit better in the heat, but they are still not going to be, no matter what variety, they're not going to be heat-loving plants. There are a few types of lettuces that if you grow very carefully, you can grow through the summer and they won't get as bitter, but those are not the norm. Most lettuces you're going to grow are going to get really bitter in the summer heat. So that is why they are being planted now, because you can plant them now in my zone, which is 7A. It's going to vary from zone to zone what you can plant this time of year, but I have done this many times and I know that these plants are going to thrive, especially if we have a cool spring. Now if our spring turns hot, I may not get a great harvest out of these things. So I'm just hoping for a nice cool spring so we can have a great harvest. Okay, I have lots of helpers today. So the first thing we got to do, guys, is go look at the beds and see exactly where we're going to plant and which beds we need to fix. Once again, I am going to be using weed barrier and row cover today, so that will be a part of our planting. So some of the beds are a little too narrow, so we're going to have to scrape back some of the wood chips and widen the bed back out. They just got covered up with wood chips the day that all of my friends came to make my garden so beautiful and lovely for me. So we just have to fix that real quick. It's not a big deal. So I have 8 rows left in my spring garden. Many of you have asked, what am I doing on this side? This is my summer garden. That's why it's tarped, to prevent weeds from growing and taking over and destroying all of our hard work. This garden is ready though. It's got the wood chips to prevent the weeds growing in the paths. And then I have certified seed-free compost about 4 to 6 inches thick on top, which will help prevent weeds growing as well. So that's why this side isn't tarped. I have 8 rows left to plant. Now I know 4 of these rows are going to be potatoes, and maybe even more. I may decide to do more potatoes because that's something I like to grow a whole year's worth of. And my spring crops are really just for eating, as far as like lettuces and broccoli and cabbage and things like that. When I grow that stuff in order to preserve it for the whole winter, I will grow a lot of it in the fall garden. So this first round will actually just be for eating. So basically all we're gonna do is pull these wood chips back just a little, and then we'll probably rake them down like this to smooth them out. And then we'll just pull this dirt over and widen that bed out. And now the bed is as wide as it was supposed to be. And what we'll do after we widen the bed is we'll just come in and we'll smooth the bed back out with a nice little rake. This is my friend Heather. She's actually my dear friend. She's also my comment moderator, so if you leave an ugly comment, she's the one that kicks you out. So that I don't have to see the ugly comments. Also, her and her family have a YouTube channel. They have for a long time. And it's Land Tree Air Farm, Landtreair, so Land Tree Air Farm. And I think they have, like you said, 60 or 70 videos.
Yeah, 70 something.
Yeah. So it's not really like their full-time gig, but they try to post once a week. And they just have a sweet piece of property, and it's worth going and watching their videos and seeing their glorious farm come to life. You guys are doing awesome.
How many do you want me to do something different?
Thank you. Oh, that looks so beautiful. As you guys know, I'm doing a lot of weed barrier fabric or landscape fabric on my garden this year so that I can actually not have to weed a ton and be able to actually take really good care of my garden. So I'm just being realistic with myself, and even though I really don't like landscape fabric, I am going to use it. We can't always be idealistic, right? Sometimes we must be realistic. And realistically, I need every single thing I can this year to help me have a successful garden. So I'm still figuring it out. I've been overbuying.
Also, tell me what seeds you want me to start. And I have room, and then we can just get seeds and I can start them.
Oh, I have a slug on me.
Here you go. New friend.
Little friend. Actually, that is a foe.
I know.
Slugs are not friends.
No.
They are foes. We're going to put the weed cloth on, and then we should be able to plant these with our hands, not because I don't have a trowel or anything.
Your dirt's softener.
Funnily enough, I do not have a trowel. I'll get some. I have a hori-hori though if we need it.
Okay.
As you guys know, I love flowers in my garden, and so I always leave space at the very end of every bed, both sides, this side and down there, to plant lots of flowers in my garden. It attracts pollinators, it can deter pests, but mostly it's just beautiful. So it's like food for my soul. That's really the main reason I have flowers in my garden. Yeah. I use these little pins to hold the landscape the landscape fabric down. And I don't know, I don't have like a formula. This is my first year using it, so I just do it about every 6 inches or so. We got the weed cover down. Now I'm just gonna put my strings up. I just keep these at the ready in my garden, and this will help us have straight rows. Straight rows are aesthetically pleasing, but they also really help with weeding if you're not using weed barrier. You guys will be very proud of me. I got a new weed torch, or a weed cloth torch. Instead of using the big weed burner, that thing was way too hard to put good size, like small holes in. It made huge holes. So I'm gonna try to use this. Who knows if this is any better. If I start here, I might do 1.5 feet. I feel like it's 18 inches.
Mm-hmm.
It's not 12 inches.
Yeah, 12
Strike
to
that
18.
from the record. Don't plant your cabbage and broccoli 12 inches apart. I mean, you probably could and probably be okay. But I remember now that it's 18 inches, not 12 inches.
So like 2 of those.
Yeah, so here we go. I hate probate.
Why?
It'll be okay.
Freaks me out. See, it'd be faster if I knew where to go already, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
But it
working
makes-
really good though. Is that easier than the other one?
Yeah, way easier. I'm just gonna eyeball it.
Might as well.
This works 10 times better than the giant weed burner that I was using the other day. So I'll link this below. I love it. This is very exciting. Broccoli is basically my favorite thing to grow other than greens. And we're about to plant it for the first time in 3 years. Ooh, baby, baby. Well, I guess my work here is done. Actually, I just need to get a babysitter now. Who wants to babysit? Yes, Juliet wants to babysit. Thank you, Juliet. They'll probably want some snuggles for a little bit, though. Thank you. You're a real garden babe. You're a little Cabbage Patch kid, dude. Oh, I'm sorry. So sorry for taking your Bessie. Do you hear that hawk?
Mm-hmm.
It's so interesting because this neighborhood is so quiet. There's so many birds.
I did notice that. There's a lot of birds out here.
Oh, I'm butchering that. One-handed broccoli planting is not going well.
You gonna plant some?
You gonna try?
You can do it. Look, there's a hole just for you.
Everything's hard when you're a toddler.
Little and tired.
You're okay. This is fun. This is what Mommy does for fun. Look, I did 4.
You did it.
Now I have to get up and scoot over.
Now you
On
have-
my lap.
He says.
no.
No, leave it there.
Do you think you got too many in one gorilla cart?
No.
No? There you go. Teamwork.
then you'll replace the rocks with the sandbags when you're done. I told them if they do an adult job, they get adult pay. And so far they're doing an adult job.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget, one thing adults do when they're done with the job is they clean up after themselves. So don't forget that's part of the job. Great, awesome. You guys are already thinking about it. And just like that, 34 broccoli plants are in the ground. Now this will just be for eating for the summer. Of course I'll freeze some and put it up. But the goal would be this fall, I'll plant double or even triple this and have a massive freezer full of broccoli for the whole winter because we eat a lot of broccoli. In case you're wondering, I am growing imperial broccoli, and I picked that kind because it forms kind of tight heads. It's good for like if you want to harvest crowns, which I do. We'll see if it puts off shoots. I don't really know if it puts off shoots, but I love it whenever broccoli plants do put off shoots because you feel like you're getting a second harvest. I guess we'll do cabbage next.
Round 2.
Do we want to take a break?
No, we do.
Okay. Hey Juliet, thanks for watching her. Oh, that popsicle looks so good. I wish I had gotten me and you popsicles.
No, I could have stopped and got us something.
We can make us some iced coffee.
Yeah,
I have an ice machine.
When we're done.
Yeah, I have an ice machine. I have half and half. I have coffee and I have maple syrup.
It's my
Iced
reward.
coffee for the win.
My
What?
reward.
I want tea.
I got cold beer. You don't drink, but I drink.
No, but those ones that you used to get are...
Those watermelon beers, I know, I wish I had a watermelon beer. They're like really light and crisp so they don't fill you up, and they're only like 4% alcohol so they don't get you drunk.
They're super good when you're hot.
They're so delicious, but I don't have any of that today. I do live in the city so I could Instacart it real quick. It would be like triple the price, but
Hey, worth it.
worth it. 30 bucks for 6 beers.
That's good.
Just call me Breeze Bar.
Breeze Beer Bar. It's the beer garden.
The beer garden! Where it costs 30 bucks for 6 beers.
I don't even like editing these things. Okay.
Are you having fun, babies? Oh, playing with lighters and scissors. I'm such a good mother.
Okay.
You gonna help now? At least you have a marker and wheat cloth spikes now. That's a little safer. You guys have been working hard today, huh?
The top tastes like bubble gum.
Cool. Those are cool popsicles. No, they're not really bad ones. They're dyed with vegetable dyes and all that stuff. I need some water. I'm gonna go ahead and make the coffee too, and then turn it off so that it's cold when we come to make iced coffee. The babies are only wanting mommy, but I want to work in the garden, and I'm also worried it's just a little too sunny for them. I need to get them some sun hats. So I think I'll let them play out in the sun for a little bit with a bucket of water. Okay, ready. Snack time. Okay, next up is cabbage. Burn my holes now. Baby free for a minute. So we're gonna try to work really quickly while we don't have babies to watch while we're gardening. Hey buddy, what you need? You like my torch? Isn't it cool? Okay, I've been planting golden acre cabbage, and it's a cabbage that matures early, and it grows like medium-sized heads, so not massive, but medium is plenty fine for my family. I planted like 32 of those, maybe it was 28. I planted 28 of those. So we're finishing off the row with the broccoli, the extra broccoli I had. It's really, I really like watching you guys figure this out.
Kid muscle.
Kid muscles only?
It all has to be totally cleaned up and put away. Awesome job, guys. Those boys did a really big job. They filled like 50 sandbags, brought them over here, moved all the rocks off the side of the garden, and put all the rocks back where they're supposed to go. That's a real man's job for those boys. It's awesome. Okay. This entire bed here is going to be kale and Swiss chard, and I think we're going to have room at the end to put some arugula or spinach, or maybe some romaine. I don't know. I have a lot of lettuce that I'm also planting today. It's a pretty epic planting day today. This is Toscano kale, also called dinosaur kale. It makes a really long, kind of oval shaped kale leaf, and it's really good for making kale chips, so that's why I'm planting it. It's not my favorite for eating like sauteed or in kale salads. That's what this winter boar kale is for. It has a really curly leaf and it's really nice and I've like tender, and it's really, really good in raw kale salads. Also, I'm growing Bright Lights Swiss chard. I actually really prefer Swiss chard over kale. I just love the flavor of it. It's a much milder, kind of sweeter flavor, a little less earthy tasting. It's also really beautiful to me. The Bright Lights has stalks that are like all different colors, and so it kind of looks like a rainbow. It's just a really beautiful plant to grow in your garden. Now that the boys are done with their hard work, they're playing, and it's a pretty epic game. Hey, don't spray me! So beautiful. Oh my goodness, that's the Bright Lights chard. It is so pretty. No, put it on the one I told you to put it on. That's too rough to those little baby plants, okay? There you go, perfect. I haven't had to do any of my garden by myself yet.
Yeah, you've had help.
For every single part of it. Pretty wild. I did not expect that. I mean, I definitely wouldn't be this far along.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Because of the beds getting done, I was able to just go ahead and plant. It's crazy. Isn't it lovely? It is turning into an absolutely perfect spring garden. It is so epic. So amazing. We've run out of time. I'm gonna cover everything with netting to keep the deer out. But also, I have never had success growing cabbage and broccoli without keeping it covered with insect netting. There's this little moth that flies around and you think, oh, it's just so pretty. Turns out it's a cabbage moth. There may be another name for it, but that's what we call it. And it lays its eggs on your cabbage and on your broccoli. And those little suckers, when they hatch and turn into caterpillars, they get all down in your broccoli and all down in your cabbage, and they decimate it. And if they don't decimate it, they're in it and you eat them. I've eaten a lot of cabbage worms accidentally in my life. Well, they're caterpillars, but anyways, this is how I successfully grow cabbage and broccoli organically. All this lettuce and chard and kale I wouldn't usually cover. They may get some flea beetles or something on them, but I still don't usually cover them with insect netting. However, I am gonna cover them because of the deer. All of my beautiful little baby plants are a sweet treat for the deer. Cheers. Maybe we'll start at the bottom. Oh, that is so good. I'm glad you guys got to meet my friend Heather. She's been in past videos, but it's been a long time. No, she was in the moving video. Yeah. The packing video.
Packing video. That was the last one.
Heather's my very good friend. I will link her channel below. Berries. Which one? Your Miss Heather was the last person I saw in the hospital before you were born. She came to play cards with me. And we thought everything was gonna be fine.
Got the call on the way home.
Ooh, is that good? I was like, go find Arthur. We need to have a baby. We need to have two babies. Two babies. Grace made dinner tonight. She made the classic mac and cheese with hot dogs in paper bowls because it's been a long day. Praise him above. You do it.
Tooth backed up.
That was good. It is time to go water. I didn't get a chance to do that earlier. And actually, I think it's gonna be really fun. I love watering by myself. It's like meditative for me. Anytime you plant seeds or you transplant plants, you need to thoroughly water them in. You can go as much as every other day, but every day is better. Of course, if it rains, you don't have to do that. This is so nice. Dinner is done. The babies are in bed. The boys are getting ready for bed. I'm gonna like comb water all by myself. It's such a lovely feeling. This is one of my favorite after dinner summer activities. It's only spring, but it felt like summer today. Oh, whoops, this one popped off.
Occasionally, and it's just fun for the kids.
Yeah, totally. Do you have kids?
Yeah, but they're grown up now, 21 and 17.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that was fun, and another benefit of having a garden, I keep meeting all the neighbors, and no one seems to mind my huge garden. I actually love that my neighbor plays the bagpipes because he's good at it. It sounds lovely. Well, everyone, I'm gonna end this video. Wow, it just feels like it was like such a dreamy day. I had a good friend here. My kids laughed and played all day and helped me, and we planted together, and I'm ending the day watering, which is what I've spent many years of my life doing in the evenings. So it kind of just feels really normal, which is a really nice feeling.
Hey, you sprayed me.
Sorry. Thanks for joining me. I can't wait to see you guys in the next video.